And here we go on a Monday, almost. How about Tuesday? Can we do a Tuesday? It is Tuesday. We're in our first show of the new month in June. And
hey, it's almost Christmas.
Just a couple of days ago, it was, let's see, 6 months, 7 months.
7 months.
And I know it was one day last week, I heard them talking about it is it was 99 days till NFL starts.
Yep.
And I don't know if that was game. I don't know what that was. But I heard Dan Patrick and them talk about it, that the NFL season is just around the corner. I'll just go ahead and get right into this because I don't know where it's going to stop. And I just don't want it to get to the point to where it kind of got like Major League Baseball a little bit. But the money that's being paid out in the NFL, and there's no – I'm not against people making money, don't get me wrong, but it all seems to be, okay, I'm the next one up, I've got to do this, or I'm the best receiver in the NFL, I got to reset the market. Justin Jefferson and the Vikings agreed to a 4-year, $140 million contract.
Why?
$110 million guaranteed makes him the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Now, the problem is if the Vikings didn't do it, somebody else would. I mean, that's just the way it works. I'm just afraid we're going to get to the point to where they can't afford for people to watch it because they can't keep up with the salaries. Now, maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, and I'm not against people making money. That's not it. But, I just –
they have nobody – I mean, if they're upset about it, which it doesn't sound like they are, they're just paying it. But if they come up and say, well, what are we going to do? Look, that's your fault. At some point, I just don't understand where $140 million of value is. And I'm not saying he's not a great player. Well, he is. But $140 million.
And that's where the whole thing is with all pro athlete contracts.
Enough balls, Lanny, or block enough or have that much of an influence on a team that can't even make the playoffs? I mean, what in the is going on? What?
I know.
And good for him.
Yeah, that's not what I'm saying, but I guess where I'm at is I'm trying to figure out what do you use as an evaluation other than where you are with other receivers in the league, where you are based on what other receivers are getting paid.
Right.
I mean, there's some quarterbacks out there making money that's definitely not worth it. I'll give you another example. They haven't done anything with Dak Prescott. The Cowboys hadn't. He has a no-trade clause.
Yep.
He's in the last year, so for him to show up next year, they've got to get a deal done. And they're saying, well, they've waited too long, which is what they usually do, which means they'll overpay. Mm-hmm. And if they don't, somebody else will overpay. But I'm trying to figure out what, like with Dak Prescott, where do you look at his history and what he's done, and how do you justify that? Of paying, other than he's next quarterback up.
Yeah, they say, that and through some of the, I guess seasons he's had that he's been one of the better quarterbacks, during regular season play. I get that. I mean, I do. But are you paying for the regular season or are you paying for championships? Right now it sounds like we're just paying to, for
and that's where I've been over and over about Mike Tomlin. Because he has done a great job. Never have a losing season in 147 years or whatever it is, but never really sniffed a championship again since he got the one. Richie, good morning. Milton, good morning. We're going to talk about that, Richie, about the regionals.
I don't know, man.
Milton said no player's worth that kind of money. Well, it's the same thing when you're paying a baseball player $800 million.
Yeah, you pay them on what they've already done. You pay football and basketball on the perception of what is to come.
Right.
Which never does.
But the other side of it is, even with baseball, how do you justify that kind of money? I mean, but I understand baseball's theory,
drastically different.
As far as paying in behind.
Drastically different.
But how do you justify paying that kind of money if there's been no championships for a player? He didn't help his team get to a championship. Or, I'm trying to understand what the thinking is other than this is what I'm supposed to do. Because I hate that. We're going to do this because this is the way we've always done it. But there has to be, until somebody steps up and said, okay, we're going to pay by true measurables. And if they did that, I can't see that they're any worse off because they're not winning a championship with all that money. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's kind of what
Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Everybody thought that they were done. Okay,
and they look like it in the middle of the year.
That's right, but they've got younger talent, and they keep trying to reset the clock with salaries and stuff so they can keep enough players around and talent. Because if you tie all your money up in 3 or 4 players, you can't win. And to me, if I'm a player, is that not important, or how much money is enough money? If you were a player, I want to make the most I can, but I also want to be in a realistic position to win a championship if I can. I'm not going to give up all the money, but I don't want all the money just so I can get all the money. So where does it change? Where do they reset? And how do they reset? Because it's out of control in any league, just like it is when we've talked about NIL in college. It's out of control. College, I think you can get your arms around it if they come together under one association, and I hate to say it, but with a contract or bargaining agreement, they can kind of get that back. The NFL has no way. Ask you this. Should there be maxes by position in the NFL?
No, it's got to be an open market. The problem is that the bar keeps getting set in higher and higher. And I say problem. At some point, trees don't grow to the sky. Mm-hmm. Okay? So at some point, and it's like this in anything in life, mm-hmm. Some things in people's gain are to the detriment of others or to the group. Now, that doesn't mean that people should not be able to earn and get what they, deem as fair in the market or should receive. They're entitled to what the market pays.
Right.
The issue is when it gets to be so ridiculous. And ridiculous a lot of times is put in dollar amount instead of, the value that's brought. I think we need to look at the value of the person and say, does the market really dictate that amount of money? And I just don't see it. Justin Jefferson is a great talent.
Yep.
But in order to win the Super Bowl, in order to win that, you've got to have defensive ends or Chris Jones. Okay, you got to have great corners, and you've got to have basically really good tight ends. Mm-hmm. You have to have those things. Wide receivers.
And that's why a lot of places are doing that.
Yeah, well, but the mismatch
and the amount of wide receivers that's coming into the league that can play.
That's all great and dandy. The problem is they got to have somebody get the ball to them, and we're seeing less and less of that because everybody in college is more worried about running zone read and trying to win, which I completely understand at that level, and then trying to adapt the game to what they're doing in college. You can't do that.
No.
The defensive ends, the rush ends, what they call outside linebackers. Let's just call them what they are. They're edge rushers, and they're defenders. Okay, are faster than all these other guys and more athletic. Mm-hmm. And it's like fitting a square peg in a round hole. Mm-hmm. Come on. And paying, I don't know, Lane. I don't know. It seems a little crazy to me. I don't know.
Nobody has, I like to know what's the reasoning behind. Even though it's not my business, I still, because it's something I follow, and if my eyes are on it, I'm supporting them because of the advertising that's placed in front of me. So I am contributing. If people say, well, you're not contributing if you're just watching, yes, you are, because if people quit watching, they don't get the numbers, they don't get the money. It's that simple. But I just wonder when it's going to reset. It's going to have to reset at some point. Another story that came out, this came out yesterday, South Carolina has fired baseball coach Mark Kingston after 7 seasons and 2 trips to the NCAA Super Regionals. Ray Tanner was the last one to win it. World Championship.
I think he's the AD.
He is the AD, after the team season ended with a 2-0 loss to James Madison in Raleigh. They finished the season 37-25 and 13-17 in the SEC. He was 217 and 155 overall, went 83 and 96 in the SEC. And,
Coach Tanner sets the bar really high. He was the baseball coach there, had a tremendous amount of success. He was in NC State for a long, long time before Coach Aviant took over. All right, I have no problem with him setting the bar extremely high. It just, the problem is you have kids that move around. Mm-hmm. They go, they can. It's just an open, free market, and people say, yeah, but that's no excuse. You got to do what everybody else is doing. The issue is this. Okay, it's kind of like we were talking about the other night. We were playing Hickory, and their coach, Hickory Legion's coach, is the coach at CVCC. Mm-hmm. And he comes over and he says, he said, we're talking to him about one of the kids on our team that may want to end up going there, and he looks at us and says, yeah, he looks like he's a pretty good player. Is he a dog? Like, does he get after it? Mm-hmm. Has he got some grit about him? And he said, what's happening is we got all these kids that don't really compete anymore. They just go show people what they can do, and they don't know how to play. And he said, going to tournaments and watching kids play is great. He said, but we need dogs. He said, great talent doesn't keep our jobs. Wins do. And we got to have guys that can win. And that's, to his point, that's kind of the, the thing right now where we're getting where, everybody's really good at flipping their bat after they hit a home run or, jumping up and down, celebrating, or when they strike somebody out, giving 15 punches and all this. When, number one, what's the competition you're playing against, and number two, what are you playing for? And all this comes around, and it's filtered into college baseball. And so what happens is it's just like football, Lenny. When you can move around and go where you want to go, only the larger programs that have the most money benefit from this. Okay, and the other flip side of that is the smaller programs, potentially Division II, that get the leftover Division I players that come in that were either mistreated or not handled appropriately or not given opportunity or just couldn't get one because he was there, come in, and then they have a great team for a year. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. We're not teaching anything, and that was Michael Jordan's biggest problem. When he had that interview with Oprah so many years ago, she's like, well, why is that not okay for them to go ahead and get that? He said, because they haven't earned it. They haven't shown it. They haven't they just show the potential of doing something. He said, that's incredibly dangerous. And she's like, why is that not okay? He said, because it doesn't teach them anything long term. And they don't know how to work for what they get and sustain it. That's the issue. But you know what? Nobody really cares.
The problem is
the adults are not being the adults.
Yeah.
They're catering to feelings, instead of saying, listen, this is an opportunity for you to take it to the next level. It's the same thing one day when you get married and you have children. You have to take it to the next level. You just can't put it on cruise control.
Well, and that's what it is.
And that's where we're at, bro.
In everything. I mean, I don't care what the sport is. All of these guys, they've got the potential that gets them in the door, but they don't perform so that they can stay there. And if they don't, well, I'll just go shop my skills somewhere else.
Let me read this text message. I got a text message from a high school football coach yesterday, all right? And I got a key. I can't tell you who it is, but I'm going to pull it up. He says, hey, Coach Rembert, need you to potentially talk with Mars Hill baseball staff about this young man. He's the best baseball player at such and such school. He's really smooth. He has an older brother that was a starter for a Division I ACC school last year. He is a legit D1 football player at receiver, but wants to play both sports in college and wants to look at the Division II level to be able to do this. He is a true competitor. He's not really interested in all the stuff that's going on, today. Okay, is that something? Absolutely. I said, yeah, what position? I think I already knew who he was. I said, what position? Who? He said, like middle infielder, outfielder. He's like, he's just a really, really solid player and needs, and we're going to go ahead and start looking for him. He's a kid that's will be a senior. Mm-hmm. This is indicative of kids sitting there going, wait a minute. If I'm not going to the NFL, I'm not doing all that crap.
then you need to just go ahead and get a job and get out.
Go get your experience and build those relationships, okay? And have a good experience in college and be the best you can be at whatever level you can do it. All right, excel. And then close that chapter, move on to the next one, and use your experiences to make the next chapter better. We're not doing that. We're blowing everything on chapter 1, and hell, that's the end of the book. Can't do that, bro. Not gonna work. It may work for a little while, but let me tell you something. $2 million in today's world at 27 years old lasts you till about 40.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how to sustain it and keep it. You say, well, if I had $2 million, let me tell you something. Factor in inflation.
Oh, I know.
Bro, it ain't happening. 80 to 100 a year just to live.
Yep, that's right.
And that's any kind of standard of life. People say, that's not true. I could do. Yes, okay, 2 things. Number 1, yes, it is.
Yep.
Okay. And number 2, figure it out. Don't tell me about, I can make $2 million last this long and I can do this. No, you can't. No, you can't.
Nope.
Can't do it. It's crazy. There's no background being taught, and all of a sudden they're left cold. And you know why there's so much, well, I say why. You know, one of the reasons I feel that, and I think that there's so much need for mental help today, because at some point in the last 40 years, we've lost telling the truth to someone as the wrong thing to do because it might hurt them. All right? In the 6th grade, my course teacher said, 2 weeks after I made course, voice started changing. She records us. You can hear me going, it just happens. 12, 13 years old, you know what's going to happen. You start turning into a young man, voice changes. She comes up to me after it. I knew it was me. She played it back for us. I was like, holy cow. She's like, I need you to fake the words the rest of the year. If she did that today, they would bury her under that school. Mm-hmm. But you know what she did? She did 2 things. Number 1, she taught me how to be Milli Vanilli, all right, because I had somebody tell me at the Christmas cantata, they said, you are the most passionate singer I've ever seen in my life. So, number 1, all right, faking the words. Number 2, she allowed me to understand that I'm not going to be good at everything that I try out for or that I, may make, because things change. And that's okay. How I deal with that is what's most important.
That's right.
Not because somebody told me I couldn't. I thank God every day for her because it allowed me to focus on the ball field instead of trying to be a friggin' musician, which is fine. If you can play an instrument or sing, like Andrew's very talented. You know that. He can do multiple. That is wonderful. That is not my sandbox.
Right.
My sandbox is playing ball, calling BS, and, trying to help.
Yeah. Yep, I get it.
Whatever, man. All right.
Let me take a break. When we come back, the Cinderella story in the College Baseball World Series has ended. More in a minute.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name.
First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
At Stifel Nicholas, we're committed to offering investors personalized investment guidance. We're a full-service organization with departments staffed with professionals that specialize in a wide range of investment opportunities, from the most conservative to the most aggressive. We strive to give each account, regardless of size, careful, individual attention. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange.
And welcome back. I forgot about this story, but yeah, I know you're in a hole. But it has come to an end. I'm sorry to say. But Alabama Southern Division III Baseball World Series.
Yeah, how about that?
Almost magical postseason ride has ended in heartbreak. They came from a liberal arts college in Alabama that had been shut down. The school was not even there anymore for financial failure after more than 160 years. Ended Sunday with an 11-10 loss to Wisconsin Whitewater in the Division III College World Series. You know, they were able to raise it's either $90,000 or $110,000 so that it would pay their way to go. And even had they won, they had no school to go back to. The school has officially shut down.
Yeah.
They shut down Friday as that's just, I don't know. That's just, it's heartbreaking.
I don't know this, but I guess I about want to guess that COVID killed them. Mm-mm. You know, the shutdown.
It hasn't said.
It's ridiculous.
I'm looking through here. I haven't seen it. And I didn't really.
All this stuff coming to light now after this.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you know, people were, for even questioning anything, saying, is this really the best thing? We're, you know, taking off and, you know, cast out, oh, you're this and you're this and all. You know, we found out what we need to work on in our country. The intolerant became tolerant and the tolerant became intolerant really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And we found out what we need to work on. Giving kids an extra year to play sports has hurt a generation a 5-year window of players. It's hurt them. And it's caused all this other stuff to come about. Well, things naturally change. No. This was self-induced, okay, by hysteria and angst and obliviation and all these other things. And this, you know, when things are going wrong, it's not the situation, it's how you react to it. And we failed miserably at the way we reacted to this. All right, if anybody had a question about anything or didn't necessarily agree with it, follow this or follow that. How about let's do one thing? Let's agree on this. All right, let's follow the truth, because when we don't do that, okay, and we start putting our faith in science, all right, instead of what is truth, this is what happens. People get hurt. Opportunities are taken away. Okay? This is the problem with, you know, one group saying, well, now the adults are in charge, and another group saying, well, y'all never did it right to start off with, and da-da-da-da-da and all. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. When you're an elected official, I don't care if it's local, state, or federal, you have an obligation all right? To do the right thing for the right reasons, not what's cool at the time, okay? And people may disagree with what they think is right and what you think is right, but your intent needs to be to do the right thing and not cater or curl up in a little ball and say, oh, help me, help me, help me. No, okay? You know, all of this is ridiculous. It all starts from being able to go to Lowe's with 50,000 people in the parking lot, but you can't go to your local hardware store, okay? All this has ramifications, and now we got players that are playing 4, 5, 6 years and squashing other opportunities and causing people to have to transfer right and left to find opportunity because they got a bunch of 23 and 24-year-olds playing.
But that is we're on the tail end of that, thank goodness.
We are, but
you can't get it back. I get it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the opportunities that were lost.
Yep.
You know, or even not being able to be realized for a group of young people, you know, that are moving through.
Yep.
And it's real easy to sit there when you get older and say, well, you know, it's my contention that, you know, this is what it was, and we didn't intend for that to happen. It was just a consequence. It wasn't your consequence, it was theirs. Okay? And this is the problem. You know, we have gotten away from truth. How about this? How about now you got several coaches in the NFL saying, hey, if anybody kneels this year, we're sending them to the exit. If they don't stand for the national anthem. And some of the same coaches are the ones that promoted.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and say, well, that was a different time and we were having problems. Listen, basically, the country was burning down and everybody wanted to make excuses while they had to stay inside their house, but people go out and get together and riot and burn the place down. Listen, it's over. The crazy, that's enough. Because what happens is, and we're talking about sports, I'm not talking about politics. What happens is ramifications come down from stupid decisions, all right, and narratives, all right, based on a certain political belief, all right, factors in to the opportunities that young people are not able to, you know, are not able to be able to have that realization of that opportunity, whether to fail or advance from it. And then we want to turn around and say, well, we just didn't know. Listen, do your research. It's not that we just didn't know. It's just that we wanted somebody to, you know, play daddy to us and mommy instead of us thinking for ourselves. All right? And, yeah, things were bad. Yes, we lost people. We know that. Things like that happened during this. But the one thing we can't do is lose our minds because the younger generation is the ones that we're supposed to be helping grow and develop and, you know, be the next great generation to help keep the country going. Instead, we suppressed them, you know, gave them a bunch of money, sent them all, you know, these schools were good, these schools are shut down, these sports were gone. How many men's sports were taken away in college as an excuse of, well, you know, we're just going to have to shut this down? I believe it was Furman that built a really nice baseball stadium like 2 or 3 years previously, and then they shut it down. Ridiculous. It's about as absurd as Clemson never having softball to like 5 years ago. Yeah. What is that?
Richie, did I not say Birmingham Southern? It is Birmingham Southern. A quote from Birmingham Southern said was always a fragile institution since it lost its backing from the big industrial Stockham family. So a lot of times there are families that are kind of help financing. This was a traditionally Methodist school. It started out as a Methodist school.
Turned into liberal arts.
And the way it is, these are the ones that are fragile to me, the ones that are private and the ones that are around 1,000 students. It's kind of hard to make it. But I'm going to give you one name. They had 22 intercollegiate varsity sports. And I'm going to give you one name that's the only name I recognize on their notable alumni is a man named Pat Buttram. And I'll let you figure out who Pat Buttram is, and then I'll tell you because I do know who he is. Let me go back and catch a couple of comments that came in. I do want to get to regionals. Last night, softball was great. Texas, the Texas game was phenomenal. I watched Carolina and LSU until softball came on. That was a good game too. But the regionals have been really, really good. Richie said ACC put 5 teams into the Supers. In each of the ACC team regionals, the ACC teams had an SEC team or another Power 5 team as their number 2. The SEC did not have that. Cowboys were paying everybody for a trophy. That's correct. Jerry Jones is wasting more money on trophy chasers. Jerry is, as much as Jerry wants to plead, he really wants to win a championship. He really wants to keep the Cowboys relevant and keep increasing his money. Adam said it's definitely too much money, but salaries will grow within the cap. Salaries move to the most relevant position. Mm-hmm. Eagles paying the wide receiver 1 and 2 top dollars and drop defensive end Reddick. There are certain defensive ends. I've heard multiple people talk about who's the guy at Dallas, the defensive end?
Parsons.
Micah Parsons. Is he really worth that money? Because there were games where he disappeared when he couldn't be effective. It's just a pure outside edge rusher when he had to do things inside. So we'll see where that goes. The idea of fixing things by throwing money at it is the mentality that the NFL is what comes with the human factor into play. Somebody like Dak now says, I'm going to get paid. Yeah, I want to win, but if I don't, it's okay. I'm going to get paid. You know, he has made one of the most ridiculous statements that I've ever heard when they interviewed him and asked him about that question when he said, I don't even worry about that. I'm just playing football. Well, that's not so, because if you're in charge of your contract, you can make things happen. Tom Brady did. He always made things happen. Travis said today's players are from a very young age are taught to just care about getting theirs, and it doesn't matter if you win anymore. Just get your stats and the money. It's the whole individualism mindset, and you're exactly right there. Richie said Carolina had a kid on their team that was a Division III transfer at either a second or short. He didn't just make a roster spot, he contributed, and as a starter, he has the work ethic and the desire. A lot of kids don't have that. They have a backyard work ethic and an all-star aspirations. 4 hit it on the head on the – Travis said 4 hit the nail on the head with kids being lied to by adults that's supposed to be getting them ready for life. Let's see. Richie said it wasn't just COVID. They had 3 former students in 2006 that detoured fundraising because they burned churches. 2002, the college was running nearly $40 million in the hole with $80 million in expenses and only $42 million in revenue. And that's what I'm saying. When you take a school that's got that number of students, it's really, really hard.
Right. And 2, they went away from what they were for so long, and that was a Methodist-based college. And then they became a liberal arts college, so like so many Division II schools have. Mm-hmm. You know, you want to change, that's okay. But, you know, that money has to come from somewhere to, was it Richie that just said that? Yeah, to Richie's point, okay? And money got diverted and moved around a lot, you know, from about halfway through 2020 until 2022. All right, it got moved around a whole lot. And, you know, the biggest thing with smaller colleges like that is you have to have an alumni base that contributes to an endowment fund.
That's right.
Therefore, they're able to give what they call presidential scholarships, where half the tuition, I say half, I'm just giving an example. Approximately half can be paid for, and then you can potentially pay for or finance the rest because they are private and they are,
right.
You pay for the smaller setting. Okay? That's okay. The issue is when you don't have alumni that want to give back, and you don't have, like you said, you drop a very popular one or one that pays a lot of money that basically funds the school. When you take it away from the faith-based, the way things started, then the money has to come from somewhere else.
Because you've lost some of those donors.
Yes.
Because you've changed your philosophy as a school.
Right. And you know what? Yin and yang here, okay? And, to Richie's point, they definitely had issues before that. But it didn't help in 2020 because there was a value add and a value delete of what college and the experience of college is supposed to be. Now you could sit at home and do it in your pajamas or your underwear on a computer, and it carried just as much weight as having to show up every day, show that you can do the job, put that kind of work in, the effort of getting up, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, putting your clothes on and going. Now you can just sit at home and get the same credits. So you got to kind of follow things around and see what makes sense and what doesn't. So what's happened is during that time and now, you've got a younger group of kids, athletes too, that are coming through. Let's get it back to sports, that have gotten up early. They go lift weights, they train, and then they go out and compete. And then you have a group that basically does nothing, sits around and drinks, soft drinks all day and plays whatever it is they do and become introverts. All right, which, hey, look, Pete, that's your business is your business. And then you've got a group that just wants to go out and play recreationally, which has always been there. And there's nothing wrong with that because they're still trying to be part of a team and enjoy what they're doing and da-da-da. Everybody's different. The problem is when you take opportunity away from those that are motivated, because those are your higher achievers, all right, that end up running businesses that take care of people in their neighborhoods and in their towns and in their cities. That's the problem in the end. All right, now you can't develop relationships when you move around every year to chase opportunity. You need to go somewhere to seek it. Two things, and I'm going to shut up, which is hard for you to believe. Two things that I talk to kids about almost on a daily basis. Well, Coach, this school's not recognizing my talent, or this school doesn't believe I. Two things. Shut your mouth and listen to what Coach Rembert says. Two things. Number one, is the environment good there? Is it a healthy environment? Both the school and the coaching staff and the team. Is it healthy? If the answer is yes, then you go to number two. Am I receiving an opportunity, or do I see the possibility of an opportunity coming on the horizon, even though we've got older players? If the answer is yes, you stay there and you work your ass off. Sorry. You work your butt off. I apologize.
Sorry?
You work your butt off. If either one of those are not there or not present, then you've got some decisions to make, because you have to have a good environment and you have to have opportunity. An opportunity is not you getting it necessarily right away. It's knowing that you're going to get that opportunity when your turn comes. And do you see that as a possibility? And the only person that can answer that is a dude or dudette looking in the mirror.
The only thing that I have ever said about that is I don't think that I've ever come across a coach that did not want to win with putting the best talent out on the field of competition, regardless of what the sport is. If they don't, then that answers your two questions right there.
Well,
and it's not about your interpretation of whether you feel like you should be out there. You've got to see if they're doing everything they can to win, because if they're playing talent, for example, and they're not winning and they're not giving anybody else an opportunity, then they're not making a fair evaluation
that's the
to
problem.
Take that team
but
to where it needs
doesn't
to
happen
be.
Very much.
That's
it's
what
always,
I'm saying. Absolutely.
It's always, well, they're the fastest player, or they can do this or that, but they're not dependable. Number one, they don't show up to class, or
right.
They don't come to school, on a regular basis. And number two, they skip practice because, today they got a stomach ache, or their little pinky finger hurts, and, oh, my back feels a little strained. I better take today off. What in the are we talking about?
I know.
And this is what has become infected down into our, middle high schools, all the way down into, from college. And now this is the next thing that's coming. I'm going to sue so-and-so coach for the $5 million that I didn't get for the NIL opportunities I should have gotten. Look at my background in high school. I should have gotten a chance to do this, and I didn't get to do it. That's coming next. Who wins in that? Nobody except the people that are representing the plaintiff and the defendant.
Yep.
Okay? And you say, well, why is that any different? Because now it's infected the one thing that we've tried to keep. I say pure, not the best word, but we've tried to keep it where you can pull for a team, and now we're pulling for players.
Yep.
Instead of our team.
Yep.
And the problem is the teams have left us. They have left.
Yep.
Gone. Because now, well, it's about my fantasy team. it's just, God.
I don't even play fantasy for that reason.
Well, you know,
I don't get caught up in it.
you know what football like? UFL.
Right, the ones that want to play. Let me give you a couple things. Sad news yesterday. Larry Allen, great offensive lineman for the Cowboys, just said he passed away suddenly on vacation in Mexico is what it said. 52 years old. He was a 2013 Pro Football Hall of Fame class. He was a second-round pick out of Sonoma State in 94. He suited up 94 through 2007. So 6 years after he was out of the league, which basically – you got to wait 5 before you can go into the Hall of Fame. But he played every position on the line with the exception of center. He was right tackle in 94, right guard 95 through 97, left tackle in 98, and left guard 99 through 07.
One of the best linemen ever.
Oh, my gosh. 11 Pro Bowl selections and 6 first-team All-Pro nods. Was a member of the latest Super Bowl team or the last Super Bowl team in 95. He's in the Cowboys Ring of Honor in 2011, and he said he played a critical role in opening lanes for the Cowboys Hall of Fame running back Emmitt Smith.
I was going to say, Emmitt, just thank him.
Oh, I know.
Because that's what it was. Who's going to let me tell you something. That may be one of the only guys that's ever played football that could block Chris Jones.
Yeah.
No, I'm not kidding. I'm being serious.
Oh, no.
He now, I'm not saying he would have got him every time.
Yeah.
But he would have got him.
No.
That is Emmitt, great running back.
Yep.
Great culture. Great guy.
Yeah.
Make sure Larry Allen is part of that all-time leading rusher trophy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's no doubt about it.
Guys are incredible.
Super regionals are now set. They got the last games out of the way last night. Here's what the matchups are. Tennessee versus Evansville.
Yeah, good job, ECU.
That will be Knoxville. Kentucky, number 2 seed versus 15 Oregon State. That'll be in Lexington. Number 3, Texas A&M versus Oregon. That will be at Texas A&M. Carolina versus West Virginia in Chapel Hill. What was the final score last night?
I was trying to keep up with them way back home, but I know they came back and won.
Crazy. I know. I was.
I think they were down the last inning and did something.
Well, it was back and forth when I saw it.
That right there, God darn that video right there.
Yeah.
I about lost my mind, dude. That was when ECU got beat yesterday.
Oh, I know.
That boy hit that home run and went over there and stopped at first base and started pounding his chest. I got to tell you, dude, different day.
Yeah.
30 years ago, you do that, man. I'm giving you the damn suplex off the top rope.
They just don't get it. I want to see if I
Russian
can.
sickle. I'm going to put you in a figure 4 leg lock. I'm going to get a table and break it over your head. God darn, man.
Let's see. Carolina, I don't see what the final score was. Richie might have it, but they won their regional. Let me go back to the other ones that I got here.
How about Georgia? How about that kid from Georgia hitting all his home runs?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And then number 12, Virginia will host Kansas State. That's in Charlottesville. Clemson will host Florida, number 6 seed.
Come back.
Huh?
Tigers are back.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Tigers are back. And Leggett's assistant there.
And
Coach Leggett's an assistant. It's awesome.
I think it's been a while since they've been to the Supers.
Clemson?
Yeah,
it has.
I think it has.
It's been a while.
Number 7, you're talking about Georgia. They'll take on number 10, NC State. That's in Athens.
That should be a great
and then
region.
Florida State versus UConn, and that's in Tallahassee. I guess the one of the things that's amazing here, you're down to your final 16 teams, and you still got 5 ACC teams in it.
Let's count the SECs. Tennessee,
Kentucky,
Texas
Georgia,
A&M, right?
Yeah, 4.
All right. Florida, Georgia, Kentucky. Wait a minute. We got 5 there.
Yeah, I believe we do.
Tennessee, Kentucky, Texas.
Got 6.
Texas
That's 3.
A&M.
That's 4. That's 5. That's 6. Oh no, 5. 5. 5 and 5.
Yeah, and then I think we go back up right quick. Sorry, and then let's look. You got Oregon State. All right, and then so that's 2 from there, and either one of those could very easily win it. What's interesting to me is West Virginia. That is very
was
interesting.
Was it Evansville that put ECU out? I thought
it was.
Right.
And that's the last time we'll talk about it. Okay. And I'm just kidding. But West Virginia, that's very interesting to me. Kansas State, not so much. I like them. They're a great team. The West Virginia thing, it could get interesting.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. I'm tell you what, though, I really like, I really
4-3.
like Carolina's coach.
4-3 last
really
night
like him.
is what Carolina
He's a
beat
good
LSU.
dude.
And Carolina had a 1-0 lead for a while,
and then down.
And then LSU had 2 homers.
Right.
And it was pretty impressive.
How about this? Carolina's center fielder is Vance Honeycutt. You remember that name? Yeah, he was that quarterback from Salisbury. Mm-hmm. So let's just go and throw it out there. He's the fastest guy on the campus at Carolina.
Wow.
Okay. And he's hit 61 home runs in his career in 3 years.
We were watching.
Phenomenal.
Went down and saw Cubby, and we were watching baseball. My son has never liked baseball. He tells me he likes baseball now, especially because he likes to bet on baseball because he can do it from his phone.
Sure.
But we were watching Kansas and San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. San Diego, undoubtedly the ugliest uniforms I have ever seen.
In the history of baseball.
I mean, they're light brown with dark brown pinstripes. They look awful. But I was surprised that I actually got to see some small ball. Got to see a bunt or two.
Yeah.
I mean, if it will change and come back to what I remember is baseball.
It's coming.
Yeah.
All right. This is the problem. Major League Baseball tried to get out in front of this so you can't shift.
Mm-hmm.
You can't put players on. Let me tell you something. That's like telling a defense in the NFL, you can't run. You can never run a 6-man front, even on the goal line. You got the most you can have up there is 5, and then you can have people stacked behind them. Freaking ridiculous. If you will leave the game alone, it will evolve itself, and everything goes in cycles.
Right. That's right.
Think about this. People losing their minds. I remember talking to a football coach one time. I said, hey, Coach, I really think we might want to get in the shotgun with the team we got, if we're going to go to this set and do this. I'm never going to the shotgun. That's ridiculous. We're an under-center team. A year later we go to the shotgun, right? But the point is shotgun was, around in the early part of football. We weren't necessarily under center, right? So, and I completely understand going under center because when you're in the shotgun, you can see the quarterback and you could follow the ball. Mm-hmm. When you're under center as an inside linebacker and as an end, you can't follow the ball because there's too much going on. It's like, hence the wing T, right? With all the fakes and right. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different mentality with a different type of ball, right? Not right or wrong, understand completely, but everything goes in cycles.
It's not any different. Todd said Carolina's pitcher last night is from Cherryville. I'd have to look at the box to see who that is. Richie said Honeycutt's a stud. If you get a chance, find a video of him tracking down a home run and robbing of it. His vision, his speed, his ability to track the ball is off the charts.
I saw his vision and speed and ability to dominate about the third play of the game when they came and played us in the the COVID football season, the spring of 2021. They barely made the playoffs because half their team was hurt at the beginning of the year, and they lost 2 games early on in their conference. Mm-hmm. Well, these guys were hands down the best 2A team. Like, it wasn't even close. Well, Honeycutt goes out there and runs a power read, and he goes, that's when he's in the gun. He receives the ball. He shuffles 2 steps to his right and either pitches it to the back, that's out there beside him, or he fakes the pitch, and they come and kick the end out, and he comes up inside of it, or our defensive end goes out to take the pitch, and they just wrap that pull guy around. That rascal, all right, faked that pitch, cut up inside. Culliver's coming at him at an angle. I'm thinking, okay, this is about a 5 to 7 yard gain. We've at least played it. He runs away from Chris. Runs away from him. I went straight to the head coach, and I said, hey, look, man, it's going to get bad really quick. Just stay positive, all right? We got a lot of young kids. We'll keep coaching our butt off and, compete and do the best we can do, but it's going to get bad really quick with that dude doing
And
this.
you have to do that. You
you're
have
realist.
You have to know where your limitations are and don't try to go over your head and make it worse because that's what happens a lot of times.
I don't know. Todd said that boy was from Cherry.
I'm looking now.
Go back down. There's a kid from East Surrey that was a quarterback at East Surrey, Boaz.
Folger.
Right there. He started He started the first game of the season for them. He's a left-handed pitcher. There's Honeycutt.
There's
right
Honeycutt.
There.
Yeah.
Folger. We played against Folger too. He was the boy at quarterback at East Surrey.
Cameron Patchett out of East Rowan.
Yeah. Print's big enough I can see this. Normally I can't see the board at all. There's Folger right there.
Folger Boaz.
And let me tell you something. That kid, I'm shocked he went to college. He's a pro kid. Left-hander, got a sharp breaking ball.
There he is, Dalton Pence.
Yeah.
Dalton Pence. And he was, Todd, if I'm not mistaken, Pence.
I think he threw yesterday.
He was considered a winning pitcher. He pitched 3.2 innings, and he won it 4-1. Or I don't know what that 4-1 would be. That wasn't. It was 4-3. It must have been 4. Well, it can't be.
No, that's his record.
His record
for
in
the year.
For the year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That anytime they win, they put their win-loss record.
I don't recognize that name though.
Yeah, I don't either.
I was looking him
find
up
out where he went.
Yep. He was Cherryville, redshirt sophomore, left-handed pitcher.
Yeah.
I'm looking to see. 22 as a freshman, did not appear. He was a 4-year letterman for Coach Scott Hebner at Cherryville.
Yep.
Pitched and played first base. He was named 2021 NCBCA 1A All-State Team, earned all conferences as seniors, team captain 20 and 21. And
COVID years, that's why you didn't hear nothing about him, because they shut baseball season down before it even got started.
But I don't recognize that kid. But congratulations congratulations to him.
Yeah.
They did great.
And he graduated in 21.
Yep.
And he is a redshirt sophomore. Okay. What year is this?
So he was.
So he got an extra year.
Yep.
There you go.
Well, he didn't play as a freshman though at all.
That's what I'm saying. He
yeah.
redshirted.
Let's see what else I got here. Let me go back and just see headlines, see if there's anything else that I missed. I can't. Let me give you. I did think about this. Softball World Series. This is what it looks like. They're down to the nitty-gritty here. And it is down to well, that's not updated. Let's try that again. Okay, Florida beat Oklahoma 9-3. This was the game I watched, Texas and Stanford, 1-0. Now, that was a ball game. So they will play Florida plays Oklahoma today at 2, and Texas beat Stanford. So Stanford will play the loser of the Florida-Oklahoma game, and then whoever wins that game will play the winner. Mm-hmm. So we're almost out of the women's softball, and it has been really good. There were some local teams made it. I think I told you it was the first time Clemson had not made it to the Super Regionals since they've had softball, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they've been there from the very beginning, and I can't remember where their coach came from, but he is pretty darn good. And I'm like you.
I just can't believe they didn't have it all these years, and I never even thought anything about it.
Nope.
And that's okay. I mean, there was reasons for that. It's there's numbers that are out there. There's laws that have to be abided by.
Yep.
And regardless of what people think, it's not always in the favor of another group or
yep.
whatever. It's just you got to go by the numbers and follow the law. I'm just glad that the opportunity's there.
Yep.
For these ladies to go out there and compete.
Yep.
And play in the ACC. That's great university.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of great things going on. Wonderful.
I forgot about that, Link. Link said the old single wing, they used a shotgun.
Yeah.
Richie said the kid.
Two guys like this standing side by side.
The kid that started for Carolina last night is from Long Island, DeCaro.
Long Island.
He is an 18-year-old freshman. Everybody's surprised that he went to college and believes he will be starting in the majors in the next few years. Pitchers are about the only ones, if you're really good, that kind of get moved up quicker. Or what would you say the quickest position if you go straight into the pros gets to play? Is there one more?
This is the problem. You can take a young man from out of country and get him into the country a little quicker than what we can do with the young men here that go through.
They've been developed so much better.
Well, they get opportunity to come in here at an earlier age. Verification of birth certificate. We can have that conversation for days, right?
I've heard a comedian talk about that.
But thing about it is, there was a thing for a while said is Pujols really the age he is, or is he 10 years older? And I don't know. I'm just giving an example, right?
They've seen that in Little League World Series. You've had that problem
a few years ago. That boy was 14 after pitching. They said a bunch of cheaters, and then they, well, anyway, that's another story, another era. But what's happened is during COVID, Major League Baseball cut out a ton of minor league teams, cut the number of guys being drafted back, and so now it is smart if you're a pitcher, I think, to go to school and develop instead of spending that time in the minors, because these college pitching coaches are just like minor league, coaches, and they're playing against great competition to develop these arms. You look at Tim Corbin; he's a great example at Vanderbilt. And, the great pitchers they've had go through there that have made it to the majors in a year or two, after being drafted, that summer, spent a year or two. There's the boy that pitched at LSU last year, I think, that came from, was it Air Force? Anyway, he's throwing 100 miles an hour into the 7th, 8th inning the other night in the majors. He's already up there, and just, different kind of animal where, years ago it's potential that, he just would have gone on as a drafted, player. And that doesn't mean that players still don't get drafted early and go and bypass college. But there's just a lot of developmental opportunities, and they can get paid now because of NIL and because of the way that things are going around. They can get paid to go to school now and develop just like you would in the minor leagues. Why not go get a degree and do that?
Right.
And,
in the NBA, you're seeing it too now. The best players in the NBA are the European players.
Why is that?
Because they play at a different level
and
over
they
there.
Practice.
Yes.
They practice 6 days a week and play one.
Right.
Where over here we have the mentality that we're going to play 35 games on a weekend in whatever sport it is. Hell, football sometimes included.
Right.
Again, I'm being not 35. I'm being funny. But it's just a different mentality, and what happens is you spend more time playing than you do developing skill.
Right.
And that's not good.
And it used to be that the European player did not do as well.
Kukoc, he's a great example.
Yeah,
he was a well-polished player.
Yeah,
but what happened was in that era, unlike now, we had players in the NBA that developed their game and played really, really tough defense and worked on fundamental play instead of just look at me shoot this 3-pointer and jump up and down like I've done something great. It's like I had somebody tell me one time, yeah, but I've worked my ass off. Well, number one, that's what you're supposed to do. Okay, that doesn't entitle you to anything.
Shouldn't get rewarded for what your normal job is.
Okay, that's what you're supposed to do, right? That's not something that, is like, wow, you're doing something different than anybody. No. What separates you is your ability, to show, what you can do on the field, right? Or what you can do on the career, whatever it is. That's what separates you, not your ability to go in and work hard. But what makes you different, what makes you special inside. And Kukoc had to learn after he pissed Scotty and Michael off because it wasn't Reinsdorf, it was the other one, the GM for the Bulls.
I can't think Reinsdorf.
Reinsdorf's the owner. Krause said, well, Kukoc, he's going to play right away and come in. It pissed Scotty and Michael off.
Right.
And they said, we're going to shut him down. And they did when they played in the Olympics or whatever. Now, did they end up liking Tony? Of course. That's not the point.
They want him to earn his spot.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't deserve anything except an opportunity.
Yeah.
And sometimes the way life is, you don't get that.
Nope, you're right.
Okay? So if the environment's good and you're getting an opportunity, stay and work your tail off and make it happen. And if either one of those are not present, then change your environment.
That's right.
And find the right one. But do your homework before I see you on Thursday.
You here Thursday? Good man.
Wait a minute.
We have some flexibility.
Yeah, let's go Friday. I need
Okay.
to go to North Wilkesboro.
I think we could do that.
Okay.
Have a good week until then, guys. Juju is vacationing in Pennsylvania while we didn't have a show last night. Went up for his high school reunion, if I'm not mistaken. Catch you next time.